Hey, welcome back to another Mind on Mike. Here with another legend, a former Kiwi, former Melbourne Storm player, inaugural Titan too. First season of the Titans, many years in the UK as well with Hokea, Castleford. Now applying his trade as a director of rugby. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Over there,
director of rugby.
I don't even know how to say the name, bro. How do you say the name of the club or the town?
Keighley Cougars.
Yeah, I thought it was something else.
Keighley. The old Keighley Cougars.
Keighley, that's what I was going to say, brother. After Keighley Cougars, man.
Yeah,
so how's things anyway, cousin Jake? What's going on over your ways, brother? How are you?
No, I'm good, bro. I'm really good. You know, it's been a long time coming. We're finally retired from the sport that gave me so much, but I'm still involved in the game, applying the trade, and as you said, a different aspect now. I'm working behind the scenes, which is challenging, considering I never really worked a day in my life. So I swear, mate. That's the scary thing. I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, you do all these years of rugby league, and then you have these meetings with people saying prepare for life after footy, and you sit there going, nah, that'll never come, and it's finally come.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to be in a place where they've given me an opportunity to stay involved in the game. Pretty much give me an open book and said, do what you want. You know, if you want to coach. If you want to be in commercial, work behind the scenes. You know, and I've fallen into the director rugby role, and it's challenging, but I'm really enjoying it.
Well, so what does that role entail before we get into young Jake Webster and all that?
Young, I like that. You could be my friend.
Still young, eh, brother?
Still young. Young at heart.
That's okay.
But just really running the rugby club, rugby side of the club, putting everyone in roles, making sure it flows right. You know, it's also a footy managerial role, organising buses, fields, doing contracts, signing players, letting players go, building a team, building a coaching staff, to day-to-day runnings of just the club itself. You know, like you'll go from cleaning the balls just to make sure they've got clean balls, to putting names on back of jerseys, to booking a bus, as I said before, to, going outside helping with the coaches, to signing a player or releasing a player. You know, so there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that I didn't realise happened as a player. The last couple of years, I'm slowly transitioning. The body held up as long as it could. The mind still wants it, but the body can't keep playing. So to find a different avenue which still keeps me in the game, that's given me so much to give back, is I'm blessed, and I'm happy.
Definitely, brother. What a blessing. And so how did that come about, that director of rugby role? Just the club, the owners or whatever, or whoever running the shows?
Yeah, the owners. I've got a really good relationship with the owners. I've been at this club for I think about 5 years now. Signed as a player, but with the vision that I needed something after footy, and after meeting with them, they were quite impressed with what I've done, and the connections I had in the game, and just really developed a really good relationship with them and the trust. And sort of last year fell into it. I was assistant coach / player last year. That only played one game, so that was that's all the body could hold up to, because I knew I was I was just slowly breaking. But the assistant coaches, I've still got ambition to be a coach. I'm doing level 3 and all that, but it's just got to find the right time. Can't jump in too early. But we had a bit of a troubled time last year, and we lost a few staff members, and they asked me to be a bit more involved on the club side of it, and that's how that role came up, and I grabbed it with both hands, and just running with it now.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. So take us back to a younger Jake Webster. Take us back to a younger Jake Webster. Born where? Born in Melbourne, or is Wikipedia lying to me?
No, Wikipedia is telling you the truth, bro. It's I was born in Moonee Ponds in Melbourne.
Maori dad and a Greek mum.
Yeah,
Or nah?
correct. Yeah,
Half
that,
half
mate.
half haka, half plate smasher. Eh? Let's go.
Yeah, that's
Eh?
it. The Zorba, bro, Zorba.
Let's go.
But no, yeah. So yeah, started playing rugby when Dad moved to Brisbane at a young age. You know, I didn't start
Okay.
till I was 8 at Club Valley's Diehards. You know,
Okay.
that's where it all started. You know, but it probably started a long time before that, sitting on the sidelines watching Dad play. Grew
Yeah.
the hunger, and you know, just went through the grades at Valleys, and then
Yep.
happened to be picked up by Melbourne Storm at the age of 16.
How does
I
that happen, brother? What was the go there?
Well, I was at Wavell, and you know,
Oh yes.
Brisbane. Brisbane had the Broncos had their fingers in every single pie. You know, they've got every single player. There were hundreds of kids that they had under their banner. You know, I think Dad told me that they used to come for me a bit, but Dad was like, "Nah, you're not touching my son." And
Oh,
then,
okay.
you know, he was. I don't know why he did it, but you know, it was probably the best thing that ever happened. You know, you get that rap too early, start believing the hype.
Yeah.
So he kept me grounded. And then I think I was 15, 16 years old when Melbourne came knocking on the door. They came in 98, was it 98, I believe? And
Wow.
that was my last couple of years at high school. They came knocking on the door. They had their finger in a few little things up in Queensland, which was North Devils. But they
Yeah.
selected.
Yeah.
There was a few.
GI and Cooper Cronk, they play there as well.
Yeah. So a GI would come after me, but there was
Yep.
me, Billy Slater, Cam Smith, Dallas
Fuck.
Johnson, Mick Russo. There was a few other boys that were there or thereabouts that you know they handpicked,
Yep.
and gave us all scholarship contracts. And you
Wow.
know, and instead of quantity, they went for, and I'm not being too big headed, they went for quality and
Yep.
put everything they could into that. You know, so it seems to have worked out for them. You know, they had the big three. They had Cooper, Billy, and Cam,
Definitely,
didn't
brother.
they? You know, so
Yeah,
that
100%.
was so their ideas and their blueprint that they wanted to do worked. You know, and they got the
Yeah.
best out of the players. You know, it's probably the best three players in their respective positions that have to grace the game of rugby league.
Yeah, if not the best, definitely in the
Yeah,
argument. I mean, depends on who
yeah,
you are, I guess.
I suppose.
It's crazy. What did you see it though when they were young, bruv? Like when did you see them like
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
know they were
I
gonna
was,
be that good?
yeah. You know, like Billy was probably the shock out of everyone. He
Oh,
was the unknown. You know, but when he came, he was like, it's you give credit when credit's due. You know, a good-looking guy could do anything and everything that he touched. You know, I think
yeah.
he came from he was a
Is
training
it jockey or
horses.
something?
Yeah, training
Oh, yeah.
horses for Gay Waterhouse, I think it was. You know, and this kid rocks up. He just turned up and at the back of a car, give me a shot, gave him a trial. Within 3 weeks, I'm looking at him going, shit, my position's under threat here. You know,
Yeah.
and that's just to be honest.
Yeah.
Fast, strong, could tackle, could score a try, and I'm sitting there going, wow, this kid's just come out of nowhere. And, his attitude was something that I'd never really seen before. You know, nothing was too much for him. He was always doing extras, and it wasn't just natural ability, but he had that as well.
True.
So
On top.
that was a bit of an eye opener for me, saying, shit, I better start listening a bit more and doing all those extras. So that sort of helped me, and Cooper was a bit of a slow burn with him. He was, in and out, didn't really have a position. But then when he got the job at halfback, it was like, wow, where's where's this kid been? And so that was good. But Cam Smith always had that about him. He's dominated every game he's played in the juniors. I watched him come through.
Yep.
Was the body of an accountant, didn't have a clue. That's what I mean. That's what it's like. Look at this kid. He's got no idea. But, just
weapon.
Yeah, mate, could manipulate a game and control a game from anywhere on the field.
Like no one ever, eh?
Yeah, man. So
games too.
Yeah, man. To do it in the middle of the park too, against some of the biggest men running around, mate. That's he obviously did something right.
Well, because speaking on the middle of the park, you ended up playing there a little bit later in your career, eh? Like,
Yeah.
did you gain a newfound respect being in the middle of the park, being like, right,
Yeah.
compares.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Like I was like, nah, get me back out in the backs. You know, but
Give me my pace back.
yeah, that's what I mean. As soon as it started to go, I had to move into back row.
Yep.
But I've always liked the contact though. But it's just the repeat contact that got me. effort on effort on effort. But no, I enjoyed the time, and as you said, newfound a respect for those boys in the middle. Understand why they don't play 80 minutes. Definitely.
Yeah, well,
But
like the weapons, man, weapons.
yeah.
So how old are you when you make your debut for Storm?
19, I think 19, 20.
What's that like? Like, what's the week like? Was Bellamy there then or not?
Yeah, Bellamy was there. You know, he's that's another story. He's unbelievable. But no, it was a bit surreal. It happened a bit quicker than I thought. But the week leading up to it just sort of happened. And the next minute you're putting the jersey on, and then you're on the field, and then you blink and it's over. It happens that quick. You wait your whole younger life, you dream about it, and you put everything into it for it to come and go like that. It's a bit. It is quite daunting, but it's. I was quite proud, an achievement.
Yeah. Was your dad there? Because your dad obviously played a pivotal role in your life and career.
Yeah, Dad was there. That's one thing that I don't think he would have missed. I owe everything to him. The hours that he spent driving me everywhere, coaching and all that. So to have him there was special. I'm pretty sure my whole family came. So that was something that it's hard to explain when you haven't really been involved in it, because it happens like that. You blink, it's over, and it's like, well, hang on, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then you look back on it, and then you slowly can start remembering bits and pieces of how it went, what happened. It's when you reflect on it. So
yeah. And then mind you've still like just recently retired, so it's sort of like not probably haven't had much time to sit back either. Now you're still your head's still in the game, and that probably maybe when you're another 20 years you might reflect and have a bit
back
more.
In my day, those old fellas at the pub.
Back in my day, back in my day.
Looking at me going, "Blah, you didn't know."
So, your dad he's from the north, eh? Is he from the naughty north?
Yeah. He's up Taiki.
Oh yeah, just out of Kaikohe, not far from Kaikohe.
Yeah. So he came over to Oz as a young 16-year-old, I think he was.
True.
Yeah, him and his brothers came over. So
back in those days.
Yeah, I thought, well, I don't know too much about those days, but it was quite a tough upbringing Dad had, So it was. I think he had to get out to make sure he got out alive, sort of thing. It was. I don't know a lot about it. He doesn't talk to me a lot about it, but the gang life was quite prominent back then.
Yep.
He was brought up in Auckland, Mount Roskill, so he was. I think him and his brothers decided that we've got to get out of here, and they ended up jumping on a plane and ended up in Australia. So.
Well, shout out to Dad anyway. What's the bro's name? Can
Stephen.
we put it up?
Steve.
Shout out to Stephen Webster. Or is it Webster?
That's the one. Yeah.
Shout out to Steve. The bro's still kicking, still running.
Yeah, still running around, bro. He's just retired recently, living up on the Sunshine Coast. Living the dream, walking his dogs.
Big mihi to him, bro. Big love to him. Like, with that being said, brother, you obviously Dad being a Māori. Did you grow up wanting to play for the Kiwis? Because you end up playing for the Kiwis, or how does it? Or did you, or All Blacks or anything like that? What was the go when you were a kid? Did you?
All Blacks was the dream. All Blacks was the dream. Yeah, always, isn't it? That's a religion. Just brought up with Dad, so prominent with it all. Always watching the All Blacks, and then it was I didn't play rugby union. I played one game of rugby union, didn't like it.
Yeah. But All Blacks still in the head was the
All Blacks still in the head, So, but the next thing, to the All Blacks was the Kiwis. So, playing rugby league, I had it in the back of my head that I'd love to one day, but never thought it'd happen. Well, not that early on in my career anyway. It was,
Sort of, are you like 21 or something when it happens or something? Or
yeah,
not
yeah, 2000 and see the numbers. I'm no good with
five?
numbers.
It was 05?
2005,
or
yeah,
something?
yeah. So, 22, maybe 23, something like that. Yeah. So,
So how does that come about, brother? Like, did they know? Because obviously born in Aussie, Aussie, but like, did they know your eligibility, or how does all
yeah,
that
you've
work?
got to fill out. You fill out on your when you sign your contract. You
Yeah.
fill out what your eligibilities are and your allegiances. So with Dad being so prominent in my life and having a big influence, that was always something that I'd love to do, represent my father. So I put it on there, not thinking anything of it at all.
Yeah.
No, and then 2005 came, and I got picked in the. We had a pretty good year. Had my full really season where I was a consistent member of the team.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, this is great. I'll just build on this. At the end of the year came around. It was what was it? They had it was called the Tri Nations back then.
Tri Nations, yeah, Tri Nations.
Yeah. And there was a game in Sydney, and I got picked for the New Zealand A side, and I was like, wow, this is mean. I didn't even think about this.
So that's the A side, not even the Kiwis.
Yeah. So I was just preparing for that. Season had finished, and we didn't go into camp until I think a week before or a couple of days before. And then David Kidwell, he was a bit of a mentor to me at Melbourne. Gave me a phone call. Sure. Yeah, I was out on the beers with my brother down in Melbourne, and I don't know, I can't remember where I was. And he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, just out with a few beers." He goes, "You better get home." And I was like, "What for?" And he goes, "You'll be getting a phone call at 6 a.m. So I've gone, fuck it, all right. Went home, woke up 6 a.m, need to be on a flight by 9. You're coming down and you might be playing. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I flew down to Sydney. Didn't think too much of it. I thought, just coming into training just to make up numbers as you do as a kid. Yeah. And then I'm sitting there going, I've missed training. Now they put training all the way back till the afternoon till I could get there and all that. And then just threw me straight on the wing. And I've gone, wow, what's happening here? I thought it was just, someone's injured or someone might be sick. Yeah. Did the full training for the week with them. And on Thursday or Friday, I think Bluey called me and said, you playing? I've got, fuck off. Sorry, can I swear? Can I swear on it?
Yeah, of course you can, but go hard, my cousin. Go hard.
And I was like, nah, no way. And he's like, yeah. And I'm sitting in the room with like Rubes, Stacey Jones, Nigel Buckingham. I'm like, nah, no way. I play against him, and I felt honored to play against them.
Yeah.
They're going, nah, this can't be. I'm looking for the cameras. Nah, this isn't true. I've rung Dad, and Dad's like, Dad, are you there? He's crying. I'm like, oh my God, what like what's happening? Like it was a whirlwind of things that happened. And I'm sitting there going, nah, I'm just in the squad 18. I'm not playing. And then he goes, no, you're playing. So I've literally I can't even remember. It was
of course. Another one of those.
It was surreal.
Sure. Yeah.
And then
that's probably a lot to your dad too, like leaving, like you said, life or death sort of thing, leaving the country that he loves and calls home, and living on the other side of the ditch 20 plus years, whatever it's been by then, to want to dream for his son to play for his country, you know what I mean, or like to dream to have a boy. Like that's on, brother. That's amazing. I can only imagine some of the stuff that was going through your dad's head and the emotions, brother.
Yeah, and he rocked. Obviously, he was at the game, but he was at a lot of them. He was. I think his passport was out of date, and he had an emergency passport for the game that we played in New Zealand. Just to get, I'm pretty sure they helped him get an emergency passport just so he could fly over to watch that. He's followed me everywhere. He's even come to the UK. Oh, countless amount of times just to watch.
Oh, because you didn't do too bad too, and the old Tri Nations, you ended up taking it out and giving Aussie a hiding too,
Yeah, 24-0, bro. It was only just been beaten last year. That score.
The boys. I remember. I remember I was a teenager watching it, brother. Like early in the morning, being like, "Wow, the boys," Yeah,
I know, man. It was that was mate. That was buzzy. That was real buzzy.
There's Jake Webster, young Jake Webster, and a young Manu Vatuvai on the wings, brother. You know.
Yeah, bro. You know, he was the beast. You know, that put him on the map. You know, after that tournament, he was you know, just went to bigger and better things.
Yeah, hard. But I mean, even the caliber of players you played against, brother, like some of those names over there, holy wreck, brother. And to put it on, you just put it on them, boys. You know.
Yeah, I know, man. You know, like that the Aussie team. Every year, you know, I've got the pick of the bunch, and you know, for that year it was, you know, there was Darren Lockyer, you know, Joey Johns. They're two of the best players I've ever played against.
Yeah,
you know, and to get one over him, it's definitely something that, you know, sticks in my heart and will always sit at the top of the mantelpiece for sure.
Yeah, 100%. What was it like? Did your dad make that game or no? Was he?
Nah, he didn't. You know, it was a bit of a rush thing because we only found out the week before because we were waiting on a result from Great Britain and Australia. You know,
because you had lost to them too, as well.
Yeah, we lost. Yeah. We'd lost 1 to Oz, so we were all sitting on the same points. But for and against was a big played a big part in that. So and I was touch and go as well. I got knocked out the week before, whether I'd play in the final. So Dad wasn't going to risk it coming over. And all of a sudden, I only got cleared to play the day of the game.
Oh, true. Today, like this day and age, you probably wouldn't have been able to play. Eh?
As soon as you're out, that's what I mean. Back then, it's like nothing was going to stop me. But the day before training, I'm still a little bit like that. You know, it wasn't. Everything's a little bit blurry, getting your heart rate up. But yeah, nothing was really going to stop me from playing. Just had to put the old headgear on.
Yeah,
and then out there, and you know, I wouldn't have missed that for the world. So.
What's it like? But have you been knocked out like many other times, or was that the only time? And
lots. Lots, bro. Lots. Bro. You know, especially it's quite prominent now. There's a lot of things going on with the head contact, and you know, if it was in when we were playing back in my day, I don't know if I would have lasted as long because it's
true.
It's quite not because of any other. It's just in myself. I understand why they're doing it, but I also don't. You know, especially over here, you know, they're doing it for insurance purposes, looking after the player, looking after, you know, their longevity of life after footy.
Yeah.
But we know what we're getting ourselves involved into.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
It's a tough sport. And if it was easy and everyone could do it and had the balls to do it, they would, but they don't.
Yeah.
So that's mine. You know, it's a bit old school.
No, I agree with you, brother. In a way, if the person, you know, if you sign up and you know this is part of what can happen, like you know what I mean, and you're cool with it,
there's other avenues you can go down. You can go down the touch footy, you know, Oztag.
Yeah,
but you know what you get yourself into. So that's my outlook on it. You know, there's a bit of a uproar about it over here at the moment, but you know, I could take the socials all the time, but I just bite my tongue and just chill.
Yeah, nah. Well, have you seen the thing that World Rugby are doing with that mouth guard thing? Have you heard about that?
With the measures the impact or something.
Yeah.
Too much.
There's a few that got taken off, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Nah.
Oh,
true. He's still there too, bro. See?
Yeah, let's go, brother. Especially the way you played, because you played pretty physical. You enjoyed fucking. But
always. It's a challenge, bro. Anyone wants to run hard at our young boys or little boys, let's go.
Yeah, exactly, brother. But I seen one of the matches back here, one of the Super Rugby. It was like 77 minute, and it's like really close game. And then the doctor like whistles for one of the players to come off, Chiefs versus Crusaders. And it's like, but he didn't he was confused. He's like, why? He was like, because they had measured something on the thing. He's like, what the heck? He like,
right, well, they're changing everything over here too, man. They want to take the tackles below the armpits now next year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thoughts, brother.
Don't even start. That's a whole nother episode. That.
Wow, brother. That's a whole nother episode. We'll come back for that one next year.
Next year you can have my thoughts on that. How it's,
is it starting this year or next year?
Next year. They've implemented it in junior and amateurs. Contact's got to be below the shoulders, and that was never me.
But then, so what happens? Like, So what, did they just want to offload for a party or like, I don't know what's going on?
I don't know.
You're not allowed to- What's
I don't
next?
know.
Below the hips?
Yeah, no, that's it. Everything below the hips, you know, mate. Just get the tags out. Just touch.
Oh, holy rip, man!
So
And
I
then-
know why they're doing it. It's for insurance purposes because insurance companies and all that. But come on, you're just taking the the fun out of the game for the supporters and for the players. You know, we don't go out there to hit people in the head, but it's a physical game. Happens by accident sometimes.
What about like, you know how they took the shoulder charge out? What were your thoughts when that happened? Were you like gutted, or were you like, nah, it is what it is, sort of a thing?
Yeah, I was gutted because sometimes you had to use them. When someone, but if you've got Manu Vatavai running at you 100 mile an hour, you can't go like that or drop your shoulder. You get ahead. Sometimes you've got to use that. But I understand why they took it out, and that's probably that's okay. I don't, it's quite easy to adapt to that. You just got to change a little bit of your tackling technique, but changing the height of it, bringing it down to here is going to be a big change, because ball and all tackles is a big thing, offload. So that's going to be quite interesting to see.
You know how you're All Blacks fan. Do you still watch the All Blacks these days?
Yeah, still watching, bro. It's it was when was the World Cup last year? It was over here in France, wasn't it? It was quite easy for me to watch them. Yeah, it was a bit hard, gut wrenching. I was over here for the start of it, but then I was back home.
True.
I came home to watch it. So we're up at like 3-4 in the morning. Me, Dad, sitting in the living room watching every game.
But it's gotten real bad, brother? Like even like the bros are both on the ground, and if you touch their head when you're like pretty much lying on the ground, you're gone. You're both lying on the ground.
I know.
Man.
It is a bit, a bit. They've probably gone a bit too far, but as long as they're consistent. But I do like one thing they do. Yeah, I do like one thing they've done, that yellow card. And then they can upgrade it to a red instead of going straight to a red.
Instead of going straight away, because then
which is all right, gives them a chance to look at it.
Because they were dishing out heaps of just red straight aways for a while there too.
Yeah, I know. So that's one thing that is probably, is quite clever that they've done. But I still think it's, they're a bit too pedantic with certain things.
Yeah. So you played like nearly 50 games for the Storm. What is your biggest takeaway? If someone asked you a question like, what was your favorite thing about being in the Storm under Bellamy with the boys, or like what would you say, or what do you think in that time helped your career going forward?
Well, I think the culture was a big thing. Storm had a really, really unique culture, which I've taken away and tried to take everywhere where I've been. The work ethic, Bellamy was is and was the reason why I probably had so long in this game.
Really?
Yeah, just the things he instilled in you. I still think back to a saying that was always above where we did our rowing, and I've always gone back to it when times have got tough. If not me, who? If not now, when? And I always think that, that's a bit of a saying that I write down, and I used to write everywhere and have it all over.
Yeah. Like a reminder to yourself.
Yeah,
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah, and I owe a lot to Melbourne. I don't think I would have played the game for so long.
Yeah.
That's Bellamy, that's everyone involved, the club itself. It was it was a time where I had to grow up really quickly. I moved out of home when I was finished school, just turned 17, maybe late 16, just turned 17, moved out of home. And I still lived in Brizzy though, but they put me on a house just to say, look, you need to live somewhere to see if you can come down here without your family. And then I moved down there quite early. I think I was 18. I was 17 when I did my first preseason. And then I was just back and forth. And then to go down there, you're on your own. So you've got a really tight-knit family, a bunch of boys that, you rely on. No one's got family down there, because I think I was the only Melbourne. I think I was the only Melbourne-born player, and I had my brother, my sister that lived down there, and my biological mother, who I didn't have a lot to do with growing up.
Oh, okay.
So, it was good in those aspects. I had family there that I could go to if I needed to, but, my family was the boys.
I never thought about that. Like I don't think I've heard someone talk about that. About another reason, like why, not, like on top of everything you're saying about Melbourne, like about Craig Bellamy and
Yeah.
the ethics and hard work, all of that. Even just the fact that you have to bond and have to hang out and have to grow camaraderie because there's no one, like a lot of you come from all over the place, all over the country, from the islands, from Aotearoa, to move together, and you have to create that community. That makes sense, brother. Far out.
That's why I think, like you see year in, year out Melbourne go lose players, big players, they lose them.
Yeah.
These unknown players come through and they just fill that void very quickly. It's because you've got that bond, you've got that trust, you've got that relationship that you build up, and it's almost rushed upon you, because if you don't fit in, you don't stay. So you've got no choice but to. It's almost been on like one of them TV shows, Big Brother. You build you build that camaraderie really quickly because you've got no choice. You're in the trenches together, and you build that trust. So if you can trust them outside of the game, it's so easy to trust them in a game.
Thank you for that. But that's a gym, bro. Like I literally, and I watched a lot of rugby league, a lot of interviews, all that. I never heard someone say that about the Storm. Like, you know what I mean? They talk about what you said, but that's an intangible that I haven't heard anybody talk about. Or I think that's on, bro.
That's all the stuff that no one knows what goes on. You go to for an example, you go to Sydney, and there's team. So you've already got your knit of friends. So you might bond with a couple in your team, but you've already got your group of friends that you grew up with. So you always go back, and that's just the way life is. Yeah. So that's the big difference.
Even in Sydney, though, you'd have players from other places that have to adjust and create community. But in Melbourne, you think the whole team has to do that, not just like one or two players that come from, or three players that come from wherever. The whole team and whole club, pretty much, because like ain't no rugby league. Well, there is, but like not that level of rugby league that in Melbourne, compared to far out. That's on, brother.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the gym from the Storm. Titans, brother. You signed up for the first season first season of the Gold Coast. They played in the inaugural game too. Cuzzy, what was that like? New team?
Yeah, like, that was good, man. That was good. Like I'd been at the Storm for 6 years. Thought it was time for a change, and also when they came in, it was a chance to be closer to my mum and dad and my brother and sister who lived in Brizzy. So whether it being the right, when I look back at it now, it's probably the wrong thing to do. It didn't suit me.
Okay.
Like I'd signed a 3-year deal there, and it was quite a really, really lucrative deal for me. Yeah. But it just didn't fit the mold. We had some trainers there. Billy Johnson. I don't know if you know anything about him, but he is quite an old school staunch trainer. Sort of changed everything about me, which was what he was told to do. Didn't suit my style of play. I was quite big and strong when I was at Melbourne, but then when I went to Gold Coast, they said no one's ever said, look, he looks too good, or he his body's too good, or he's too fast, he's this, and so they trimmed me right down. I suppose I was fast, I was lean, but I couldn't break a tackle
and have their punch.
So I sort of lost everything that got me to where I was, and my head fell out of the game. I loved my time on the Gold Coast. It was, who wouldn't? Beautiful. I got caught up in the glitz and glamour of it all. I got caught up in the street lights. Had a great time, but knew that I'd lost what was me about rugby league. So I enjoyed it, but we just weren't the right fit for each other.
So that is only 1 year, was it?
Yeah, 1 year. I sort of lost, as I said, I've said it a couple of times. I've lost everything about me that I couldn't even recognise myself as a rugby player. Yeah. So I ran away. Not proud of it, but I felt like I had to. UK came calling, and I said, that's it. I need to do this on my own. So I'm just going to leave. Reinvent myself, get the love back, get what I knew get back to where I knew I needed to be, and then I was going to come back.
Yeah, that was also the intention, because you're only young, 24 or something like that when you moved.
Yeah, 24. So the whole intention was to come back. Yeah. you know, I'd been in contact with Melbourne again. They'd called me while I was over here. Said, I want to, you know, what are your thoughts? Come back. We've had a few injuries. We'll sign you back up.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, yeah, I could do that, but I hadn't finished what I needed to do personally.
Yeah.
You know, I'd already run away from one thing. I'd signed a 2-year deal with a third option in my favor. I wasn't about to do the same thing again and say, look, I'm just not going to keep running. You know, I came here to do a job, and you know, I still hadn't got the answers that I wanted inside myself. So turned that down and stayed. And then I haven't been home since.
Whole KR, was it?
Yeah,
whole KR was.
Whole KR. Ended up
what was that experience like? Because like whole KR versus FC, like also that, like they love the old rugby league there.
That's a rivalry that you can't rival. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
really.
Yeah, well, you got two teams in one town divided by a river.
One little town there.
Yeah, bro. And it's in not the middle of nowhere, but it's the end of a motorway that you only go there to go there. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's they call it a fishbowl. Because people don't leave. Once you get there, all the locals don't leave. But I really, really enjoyed it there. The people were great. It was, coming up to Derby time, it was really fun.
Yeah.
Like I lived on the black and white side of town.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So it was. You go shopping and that during the year, they love you, but as soon as Derby comes up, they look at you like, what have I done? It's like I've stolen your cat or something. That's what it's like.
Wow, right.
That was quite a really, really entertaining experience. They used to fight, like literally fight. Before I came over, I looked at something. They were on the field fighting each other.
Yeah.
There was a lady with a broken arm with a jandal in her hand, and then someone else on the ground, bro. I'll try and find the photo for you and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, guys.
But no, it was like wow, it's just a game. But to them, it's life.
Well, it's been 1800s, eh? Sort of thing.
Right. So that was good, And I think we got the upper hand most games, but like you've got 25,000 screaming, and I think when we played away, you'd have 5,000 or 6,000 screaming they love you, and then you had 20,000 wanting to kill you.
Yeah.
And the fans are a lot different over here than they are over there. They got songs,
brother.
They chant, and it's like you can't even talk to the person 2 meters away from you sometimes.
What do you think that is, brother? Like, why are the crowds down here so quiet, brother?
I think it's just the culture, isn't it? It's the football. Have you seen that movie Green Street and all that? Have you seen all that stuff? It's that culture. It's they brought up on it. They love it. They breathe it.
Yeah.
It's like what the All Blacks are to the Kiwis. They love it. It's a religion.
Yeah, but even in saying that, brother, like you think about it though, if you go watch, like I watch All Blacks games back home, it ain't that loud. Not like fucking because I've watched a few. I've been over to the UK and watched a couple of All Blacks games over there, brother, and like there's All Blacks games, and I didn't get to watch I didn't much league at all, but like like All Blacks games, Wales, Scotland, wow, it's so loud, cuz like holy wreck.
Yeah, it's these fans over here. They're just boisterous. They love it. They have songs for everything, and they just chant it.
100%.
They love their beer, so they all get on the beers early on in the morning.
Amazing atmosphere, cuz like straight up over there, the way they do it, man. Even I remember like being in Millennium Stadium. I don't know what it's called now, but in Cardiff there. And then the Welsh are singing their hymns and the roof's closed, and it's just fucking spine tingling, like it's pretty mean, bro. Like
bro.
I went to a couple of football games, and then, like you said, it's just the same, bro. Like the people, I don't know.
It's just a different vibe, different feeling, isn't it? So but no, I'm happy to experience it, and it's a lot different. You can play in front of 50,000 at Suncorp.
Not the same, eh?
No, you play 25,000 here, and it's like wow, it's like chalk and cheese.
Louder, eh? Way louder.
Yeah,
crazy. Even like so whole KR living on the black and white side of town, white and black side of town.
Yeah.
What made you leave? Just time
for a change. I did that 5 years there. It's either I always look at it. You've either got to change your environment or you get stale. So I changed my environment. Didn't move too far. Went to Cass, which was only probably, what was it, 30-minute drive from where I lived, 40-minute drive, which is nothing. You know, it is a long way in the UK, but it's nothing.
Yeah, not down here. This down the road. Yeah, this is down the road.
So went to Cass. You know,
did you move to Cass, or did you stay in the black and white side of town? And
stayed in the black and white side of town for a couple of years, and then just moved to Cass eventually. But yeah, that was quite a tough move, just for the fact that they were struggling really, really bad. So it's that was a sort of a rebuilding phase for them.
Yeah.
So, sorry, my work colleagues just rocked up, Steve.
Right. No, all good, brother. Shout out to Steve.
You okay, bro?
Hey, what's up, brother? All good, brother. So Castleford went too good, but didn't went all right after a while, eh?
Yeah. Well, they had a vision. You know, they bought. You know, they know where they wanted to be, so they slowly built a team. You know, and I was in a part of that start of that team. You know, and we just slowly progressed and ended up being where we got to. You know, we went through
Challenge Cup final 2014 too, eh? As well.
Yeah, Challenge Cup final. That happened probably too quick, and then we got beaten by Leeds. You know, they're our arch enemy, Leeds.
Can you speak on the Challenge Cup itself? Like, because people probably don't know that's the oldest existing cup in rugby right now.
Yeah. It's a big thing over here. You know, it's a knockout comp, and it used to be. I think it still is with every single rugby league team. So it starts with all the amateurs getting through, and it's just a knockout comp. So you win, you move to the next round, and then when you get to like round 4, the League One teams jump in, or round 3, whatever it is, and then round 5, they add the championship teams, and then round 6, you add the Super League teams in. So whoever's the last one standing, the last 2 standing, and that go to the Wembley down in London to play at. I don't even know what they nickname it. What's the nickname of that place? But yeah, it's Wembley. Wembley, the hello turf of Wembley. You know, you're not even allowed on it to warm up too early.
Oh, true.
Yeah, man. They sit there. The second you step on, I think you've got 30 or 45 minutes. I think it's a certain amount of time. So the second someone steps foot on the grass, your clock starts. So you got to stay off the grass, mate. It's that anal with it. Yeah. So that was real trippy. That I played at some big stadiums, but that's probably one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. And far out. Well kept, obviously. So, what's your favorite favorite memory from the whole days? I'm guessing like the derbies, maybe.
Derbies for sure. You know, they were good. You know,
yeah, it sounds on, brother. Even the Cass days. What was your favorite part of all that?
There's too many to mention from there. You know, like we've had from where we came from to where we got to. You know, just that whole process was, we'll always, be fond in the memories. But the league leaders, to lift that trophy was, a special moment as well. But to make both those finals, we lost them both. But just to be involved, in the argument at the end of the year of being the best, was an achievement.
One win away from taking it all out, brother.
No one remembers second place, but it's still since up here, what could have been, but the achievement that we achieved in that year was something that we can't forget.
Yeah, and as you said, to build from where you came from to get to where you got to, brother, that's amazing. And after that, you had a little stint before you ended up here, or?
Yeah, I went to Bradford. Went to Bradford for a year. Yeah, went there. It was there was more of a box ticking exercise. Bradford was the only team I really knew. Robbie Paul.
Yeah, the Robbie Paul.
The Paul brothers. Shotane Harpy was there.
Yeah,
he was there. Yeah. Vangana, Big Joey. Was there. Yeah, so that's the only team I really followed when I was back home. They came up. They've been dragged through the ringer the last probably 8-9 years with going into administration, poor ownership, so they're not at the heights they were. So I had the opportunity to go there, and that's when I was going to start preparing for life after footy. I saw an opportunity there to maybe jump into the off-field side of that as well, but just wasn't to be. That's one of those things. No one's
Yeah.
fault. It just didn't fall that way.
It's for the way you are now. Where you
Yeah.
are, right?
Yeah. So now at the Keighley Cougars.
Yeah, the Keighley Cougars.
Yeah, man, enjoying it really.
Yeah, shout out to the Keighley Cougars, man. So, what competition are you fellas in now, brother?
We've just been relegated. Last year we were in championship, one below Super League.
That's the one below. Yeah.
Yeah, but now we're the one below again. But sort of a blessing in disguise. Me taking over the new role, plus Steve just starting off in his new role. It's pretty much me and him running the club. We can put our own stamp on it, build it the way that with the beliefs and the expectations that we have, and really stamp our footprint down on it.
No, awesome, bro. Awesome, and like you've already been part of building, like even what you did over with Castleford, even in a way, even though you was not the right time or the right fit for you, really, just more of a monetary thing. The Gold Coast, like been part of a few little builds there, brother. So you've experienced in building things, brother, even as a player. Now on the other side of the
yeah. Well, that's I did a podcast a little while ago, or an interview a little while ago, and reflected on all that sort of stuff, and it was it seems to be a bit of a pattern for me. Went to Melbourne brand new, went to Gold Coast brand new, went to Hull KR, they'd only just been promoted the year before, so I wanted to be part of that rebuild. So I've always had that probably in me, that I've haven't wanted to go as a finished product, wanted to start or be a part of something. So that I didn't really think of it like that until I did that interview a couple of years ago. So, but that's really stuck with me.
Yeah,
I enjoy the talent.
You're about to do it all again, brother, and take them all the way to the Super League.
That's a long-term goal, but that's the goal.
Yeah, 100%, brother. If you're not, what you can achieve is only limited by the scope of your ambition. That's a quote that I live by, brother. Like as you do with if not you, what is it? If not you, win or who?
If not me, who? If not me, who? If not now, when?
Yeah, exactly, brother. That's it, brother. Like, and you've already been a part of plenty in the past, and I look forward to seeing how you go, brother. I'll try to track it. It's hard, like over here, to obviously watching the games, and I know you're in the lower tiers, so it's even harder. But I guess YouTube, or how do people watch the games or anything like that, brother?
None of them are live. Usually, we'll put them up on our YouTube channel.
And what's that one? Oh, because I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, it's just Keighley Cougars. It's just their YouTube channel. It's an open one. We usually put at least the highlights up. Will go up, or our Facebook page. You'll get the links on that. So, it's all accessible at some point.
Any Aussie or Kiwi fans on this, or any people on this side of the world want a team to follow? To back.
Well, we got a few. We got Junior Sowers with us.
Oh yeah, Junior South former Knight, former Kiwi too, Kiwi.
We got Mark Ioane. He was.
Ioane, yeah. Junior Warrior, the fellow.
The
Titans as well, was it? Or Warriors? Oh yeah.
He's
was he a prop?
Yeah, he's still a prop. He was and still is. He's one of the best props running around at the moment.
Yes, go. There you go.
We got them two here. So anyone who wants to keep an eye on those two, just look at our socials.
That's it, and go buy some jerseys, cuz. Get a jersey, brother. Yeah, fuck it. That's awesome, brother. No, I've got a few questions before I do take off, if that's all right, my brother. A couple before I let you go. If someone asks you what's the main differences between the NRL and say the Super League, what are the main differences in your opinion?
The weather. Well, that's the biggest one you've got to get over. And the weather, because of it's not the playing side of it, it's the training. Pre-season, you're doing it in snow sometimes, so that's the hardest thing to get your head around. Like, I remember one year I was training and it was, you look at your car and it tells the temperature. It was -8 before we were going out to do one of those awful beep tests.
Oh,
and then
-8.
Yeah, -8. And then you look at it, but it feels like -18 because of the winter. And it's like,
Oh my God.
So that's the hardest thing, and then there's, the fields also, NRL, you've got the nice fields all the time, aren't they? And they're the same size.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, because you play on like like football fields in there, eh?
Yeah, sometimes you're football fields, sometimes you're in paddocks. It looks like, that because of the grass doesn't grow the same, they can't maintain it. So it's real muddy. It's the dimensions are changed in, fields. At Cass, I think our home field, it was 80 meters long.
Far out.
Because the 10-meter lines were like 6 meters, 7 meters, and then there was one that was like, I think 5 meters. So
the 10-meter lines.
Well, out here, I think our 30 meter to our 40 meter line is only 4 or 5 meters. No, it's 2 meters, 2 or 3 meters.
Oh,
so that's what I mean. They still tick the criteria to be able to play rugby league games here. And you go to another field and there's a slope like that. Where's my thing? Like, honestly, there's a slope.
What do you mean? Like you run on it?
Yeah, like
you playing uphill?
I mean, no one knows. Yeah, you're playing uphill and then you're playing downhill. Like you lay down. You can lay down at the top of the hill, and you can't see. Oh no, at the bottom of the hill, you lay down and you can't see the crossbar at the top of the hill because of the.
What the hell? Holy rick! Yeah,
you want to have a look at it? Look at it. On some photos. Batley's bad too. We've got a little hill, but it's but it's still prominent.
Yeah.
So they're the probably biggest things.
Yeah. What about in terms of playing, like actual physicality, speed of the game, the way the game's played?
Yeah, it's probably a bit more free flowing that I found over here. A lot more offloads, but also I feel like they're a lot more physical over here because it's not as fast.
Yes,
the
so
grounds
you have to be.
Yeah, the grounds don't allow. When you hit summer, it does, but you've also got to prepare for for when it's just a grind. So the physicality, some of them are a lot more dirtier. The games aren't all televised, so they're physical. They can get away with some stuff.
Yeah,
so I didn't mind that. But there's also blowout scores just because it's not the number one sport over here.
Yeah.
Like the player pool isn't as big, so the squads aren't as big, the depth isn't as big. So 1 week you might be you'll win by 2, then the next time you play them you'll beat them by 40. Just because of the squad difference.
Far out.
Yeah.
And what did you think? I heard the NRL were looking at buying the Super League or something.
Yeah.
Into it. What are your thoughts on all that? Or can you speak
I don't know. They're just trying to jump on the back of this Vegas thing. So just trying to. Could be, yeah, could be, but I don't. It might be a good thing. Something needs to shake up over here. But whether they have, they might just be wanting to invest. But if they invest, they've got to have a say, because we're sort of sitting in a bit of limbo at the moment with the way the game's been run. But we'll see. Watch this space. We'll see how we go in the next few years.
Yeah, no, brother, I'll be watching for sure, and definitely a few of the brothers. When I told them that I was getting you on, they were like, "Yeah, that's me." Because they like we were young bucks and all remember you playing, brother, and thinking, "Fuck, where did he go? Where did the bird go?" Because we were only young, brother, like up and coming, like just like play for Kiwis and there, but like thought he's gonna be 200 games in the NRL.
That was the dream, but as I said, I came over here, fell in love with the place, ended up with an English partner, 2 English kids, so now I'm trapped.
Yeah, that's it, my man. So I heard you're a bit of a music man now, brother. What kind of sounds are you into?
Anything and everything, bro. Reggae, R&B, slow jams. My first ever CD I bought was Boys to Men. Yeah, I know. Bit of a softie at heart. But, I'm into all anything on YouTube. I don't like all the commercial stuff, listen to all the independents.
You the independents, I like that, brother. For the battlers there, shout out to the battlers, man.
Yeah.
And you played wing and center mostly, obviously throughout your career. You center and that. Who were the top 5 hardest to mark in your whole career?
Well, Greg Inglis is up there. I only played against him. Yeah, I played against him once, and I think he slowed down, so I didn't look so slow, and he still ran past me. So he's up there. Keith Senior over here.
Oh, yeah, Keith Senior. Yeah. You look like an angry man there. Oh, Keith Senior.
Still is very angry. He's bro. You don't want to question him; he'll just flog you.
Yeah, that
so he's up there. Jamie Lyon.
Oh yeah. That's
You know, he was, mate, both of them, really, him and when they were both the Saints, Gidley was quite, mate, he just a freak. Both of them were freaks.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Gidley.
What made Jamie Lyons so good? Like, you know, because it's not like
You
they look like much, but
no, that's the thing. You look at him, yeah, no, he's easy. Next minute, he's just floating around, just doing what he does. You can't do anything to stop it sometimes. I think just his calm head and his attitude to the game. You know, he just did anything and everything he could. You know, but he looked like Cam Smith too, like an accountant.
Yes, yeah, brother,
freak. You know, just could read the game, and I think he was a student of the game. You know, which goes a long way.
So, who would your last one be out of all the centers you played against, or wingers?
Now you're trying to hit the archive.
The archive.
Yeah, the archive.
So like a Gasnier or Matt Cooper make it in there?
No, Gasnier. That's what I mean. I was torn between those two. Gasnier was just one of those freaks, wasn't he? You know, he could create something from nothing. Like, I swear he's in front of you here, and then next minute you blink and he's over there. And it's like, how'd you do that?
There's he puffed the magic dragon, eh?
Just the step he had on him was unbelievable, and he had great hands. You know, so there's a lot more. You know, centre was quite a specialist position. You know, now it still is specialist, but you know, there's a lot more changing between. You know, there's no Steve Renoffs or Mark Gasniers running around anymore. You know, you've got back rowers who can play in centres. You know, well, some centres are bigger than back rowers these days. You know.
Yeah, actual. Yeah. Well, if you could sign a centre like, you know, out of like, you know, you had an open checkbook, you can sign anyone in the world, a centre right now. Who would you go for?
There's too many. I like Herbie Farmworth.
Oh yeah, bring him home. Home.
I like him. I like the way he plays. He's been really good at the Broncos. Stag's good too. I think Stag would suit over here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Loves the physical too.
Yeah. I like how he plays, and I like his attitude too. You know, he's a no nonsense. A lot of people get turned off by that, but I like it.
Yeah.
But then Valentine Holmes. There's a lot out there that I love. You know, he's a triple threat, isn't he? He's
whacked them over too.
Open my checkbook and let's go.
Yeah, 100%. Even Joe Mundy might go good over there if you didn't want to stay in France. See?
I think so.
Yeah, it'd be heaps. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, one meal, what are you checking, brother? What are you checking in with?
I couldn't live without chocolate, eh?
Chocolate, just chocolate forever. What kind of chocolate?
Any chocolate, just chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate, eh?
Any chocolate.
That's what we know.
Yeah, absolutely chocolate, man. Mate, it's my staple every day. I have some form of chocolate. It's probably not good for you. Don't copy what I do. I'm happily retired at the moment, so I can.
Yeah, the chocolate. And then last question, my brother. How did you avoid the temptation of partying and alcohol? Like, you know, the stuff that comes around when you're a young fella coming up.
Oh, when I who says I did? No, when I was younger. I did.
But how did you come? Because, like, you know, that'll all be there, especially being a bit of a gun player, and you know what I mean. You know,
when I was coming up, before I got into it, like the nitty gritty of it all, I'll go back to Dad. Dad was a positive influence on me. Didn't let me go party when I was at school. Said you'll have time for that. And he wasn't wrong. You know, I probably had better parties than 95% of my mates, you know, that I grew up with, that were all going to those parties. You know, we used to go to, what are those, not Victoria's Secret, you know, those top model parties, you know. You know, big parties. You know, so I just had Dad as a positive influence. Just didn't let me do it. I hated him at the time. You know, you do. You can't do this. And I'm like, why not? All my friends are. Well, let's see where your friends are in 5 years. You know,
shout out to Dad,
kept me on the straight and narrow. Yeah,
what a guy, brother.
But when I started playing great, I enjoyed myself. You know, we all had party, and that was one thing. You know, you work hard, so you've also got to play hard. There's got to be a good balance. But it's just be smart. You know, back when and this is an excuse or a reason why I partied hard, but there were no cameras back when we would be able to do what we did. Not saying I did anything wrong, but the thing is, it was the freedom to be able to enjoy yourself and be yourself. But being in Melbourne, you also had that responsibility of you are a spokesperson, or you're a part of a family that it'll affect if you do something wrong. That family environment that I said, it affects everyone.
Yeah.
So that was always in the back of your mind, but it was instilled in you as well. Go have a good time, but not at the expense of jeopardizing the image and the culture that we built. So that's always stuck with me.
Yeah, awesome, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, this mean if there was one more, I just thought of one more, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
If there's a young fella out there and he wants to know, like, what's one thing you can tell me, like, and I want to be a rugby league player. I'm cracking it. I've got the ability. Like, what's one piece of advice you would give to them?
You're always learning. Always listen. Whether it's information that you don't want to hear or that you might not think will be important to you, at some point you'll be able to pull bits and pieces from it. You're not a finished product. You're always going to have people with advice, whether it be, from a coach, from a friend, from a family member, from, just someone that you meet. Listen, and then just dissect it. That's one thing that I struggled with, being told what to do, because I was at a natural ability when I was younger. But that's, I think if I didn't adapt to that and start listening and taking advice from people, it would have been a very short career.
There you go, fam. There you go. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about, like about what you're doing over there before we go, brother? Are you good?
Man, I've pretty much covered it all, bro. Just, this is my work day now. I've been in and out, so we've just got to go. We've got our first game this week, so we'll get quite busy towards the end of the week. First league game.
Yeah.
So just get everything prepared. But no, other than that, man, just happy to have been in the game for so long, and for the family support. I've got my partner over here and my two young boys who are taking up most of my time now, which is which is the way I wanted it, and I'm happy to retire on my own. On my own terms, and not be retired by injury or not good enough or not wanted.
Yeah. What was it, like 20 years in the game, pretty much, brother? Eh? Like
yeah, man. And that's quite rare. Considering the players that get that make the grade and just sort of disappear.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you, my brother. Thank you again for this opportunity.
No, good, bro.
Time is the most valuable commodity we have as human beings, my brother. So thank you for sharing your time with me, and I hope we can do this again sometime, and maybe even when I'm in the UK, or maybe we can link up and have a bit of a catch up in the flesh.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Just keep in touch, man. Keep in touch. But yeah, no, we could have a catch up end of the year. Let you know how my first year in the workforce has gone.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would actually be awesome, brother. To when the season's done and when you're ready, when the boss, obviously Mumsy being, probably wants you around a bit more to do a few things. So if you get some free time, hit me up, my brother, and sweet, I'll suss it up. All right, then. Big blessing. Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.